Family, it's a simple word, yet it carries a profound meaning that resonates deeply within each of us. It's a word that conjures images of love, support, and shared history. When we think of family, we think of the people who have been there for us through thick and thin, the ones who have shaped our lives in countless ways. Across cultures and throughout time, family has formed the bedrock of societies, providing a sense of belonging and identity. It's within the family unit that we first learn about the world, our values, and our place in it. For many, the bonds of family extend beyond the immediate household, reaching out to embrace cousins, aunts, and uncles in a complex web of kinship. These extended family members play crucial roles in our lives, offering additional layers of support and connection. In some cultures, these familial ties are strengthened through the practice of cousin marriage, a tradition often rooted in centuries-old customs and beliefs. This practice is not merely a relic of the past, but continues to be a significant aspect of family life in many parts of the world. Cousin marriage, the union of two individuals with a common ancestor, has been practiced for millennia, often woven into the fabric of social structures and cultural norms. It is a tradition that has evolved over time, adapting to the changing needs and values of societies. The reasons behind cousin marriage are diverse and multifaceted. In some societies, it serves as a means of preserving family wealth or consolidating power within a particular lineage. This practice can help ensure that resources remain within the family, providing financial stability and continuity. In other contexts, cousin marriage is seen as a way to strengthen family ties, ensuring the continuity of traditions and values across generations. By marrying within the family, individuals can maintain a strong sense of cultural identity and heritage. For others, it's a way to strengthen family ties, ensuring the continuity of traditions and values across generations. This practice can also foster a sense of unity and cohesion within the family, as members work together to uphold shared customs and beliefs. In certain cultures, cousin marriage is seen as a way to maintain social harmony, minimizing conflicts that might arise from marrying outside the extended family. By keeping marriages within the family, potential disputes over property, inheritance, and other issues can be avoided. Whatever the rationale, cousin marriage is a complex and sensitive issue, one that requires a nuanced understanding of its cultural significance, as well as its potential risks. It's a topic that elicits strong opinions and emotions, reflecting the deep personal and cultural connections people have to their family traditions. It's important to approach the topic of cousin marriage with sensitivity and respect, recognizing that it holds deep cultural and personal significance for many people around the world. Engaging in open and respectful dialogue can help bridge the gap between different perspectives and foster greater understanding. However, alongside the cultural context, it's crucial to acknowledge the scientific reality of cousin marriage. It carries an increased risk of genetic disorders in offspring. This is a significant consideration that cannot be overlooked, as it has implications for the health and well-being of future generations. Understanding these risks is paramount to making informed decisions about reproductive health and the well-being of future generations. Genetic counseling and education can play a vital role in helping individuals and families navigate these complex issues, providing them with the information they need to make choices that are best for their unique circumstances. Every human being carries within them a unique genetic blueprint, a set of instructions encoded within our DNA that determines our traits, from the color of our eyes to our predisposition to certain diseases. These genetic instructions are incredibly complex and are the result of millions of years of evolution. This genetic inheritance is passed down from parents to children, carrying with it the legacy of our ancestors. Each generation adds its own unique variations to the genetic pool, creating a rich tapestry of human diversity. While most genetic variations are harmless, some can lead to health problems. These harmful variations, or mutations, can sometimes cause genetic disorders that affect an individual's health and quality of life. The likelihood of inheriting these harmful variations increases when parents are closely related. This is because closely related individuals are more likely to carry the same genetic mutations. To understand the genetic risks associated with cousin marriage, it's helpful to imagine our genes as playing cards. Each card represents a different gene, and the combination of cards determines our genetic makeup. Each parent contributes one card from their deck to their child, and the combination of these cards determines the child's genetic makeup. This process is known as genetic inheritance. When parents are unrelated, their decks of genes are shuffled, making it less likely that their child will inherit two copies of a rare, disease-causing card. This genetic shuffling helps to reduce the risk of genetic disorders. However, when parents are cousins, their decks share some of the same cards because they inherited them from a common ancestor. This shared genetic heritage increases the likelihood of passing on the same genetic mutations. This means there's a higher chance their child could draw two copies of a rare disease-causing card, increasing the risk of developing a genetic disorder. The closer the genetic relationship between the parents, the higher the risk. This means there's a higher chance their child could draw two copies of a rare disease-causing card, increasing the risk of developing a genetic disorder. Genetic counseling can help families understand these risks and make informed decisions. The closer the degree of cousinship, the greater the genetic overlap and the higher the risk. For example, first cousins share 12.5% of their DNA, while second cousins share only 3 1/8%. For example, first cousins share 12.5% of their DNA, while second cousins share only 3 1/8%. This difference in genetic overlap significantly impacts the likelihood of inheriting genetic disorders. This means that children of first cousins face a higher risk of inheriting recessive genetic disorders compared to children of second cousins. Recessive disorders occur when a child inherits two copies of a mutated gene, one from each parent. This means that children of first cousins face a higher risk of inheriting recessive genetic disorders compared to children of second cousins. Genetic testing and counseling can provide valuable information for families considering cousin marriage. It's important to remember that while the risk is increased, it's not a certainty. Many children of cousin marriages are born perfectly healthy, and many factors beyond genetics contribute to a child's overall health and well-being. Many children of cousin marriages are born perfectly healthy, and many factors beyond genetics contribute to a child's overall health and well-being. Environmental factors, lifestyle choices, and access to healthcare all play crucial roles. And many factors beyond genetics contribute to a child's overall health and well-being. It's essential for families to consider all aspects of health and to seek professional advice when making decisions about marriage and family planning. Cousin marriage doesn't directly cause genetic disorders, but it can increase the likelihood of certain conditions appearing in offspring. This is due to the higher probability of both parents carrying the same recessive genes, which can lead to genetic disorders in their children. These conditions are typically caused by recessive genes, meaning that a child needs to inherit two copies of the faulty gene, one from each parent, to develop the disorder. Recessive genes can remain hidden for generations, only to appear when two carriers have children together. If only one parent carries the recessive gene, the child will be a carrier but won't have the condition themselves. Carriers are usually healthy and unaware of their status unless they undergo genetic testing. However, they can still pass the gene on to their own children. If two carriers have a child, there is a 25% chance the child will inherit the disorder, a 50% chance the child will be a carrier, and a 25% chance the child will inherit neither faulty gene. One example is cystic fibrosis, a life-limiting genetic disorder that affects the lungs and digestive system. Children with cystic fibrosis often require extensive medical care and treatments to manage their symptoms and improve their quality of life. It's caused by a mutation in a gene that regulates salt and water balance in the body's cells. This mutation leads to the production of thick, sticky mucus that can clog the airways and lead to severe respiratory and digestive problems. When both parents carry the cystic fibrosis gene, their child has a 25% chance of inheriting the disorder. This means that for every 4 children they have, statistically, 1 will have cystic fibrosis, 2 will be carriers, and 1 will be completely unaffected. Another example is sickle cell anemia, a blood disorder that causes red blood cells to become misshapen and break down. These misshapen cells can block blood flow, leading to painful episodes and other serious complications. People with sickle cell anemia can experience pain, fatigue, and organ damage. The condition can also lead to frequent infections and a shortened lifespan if not properly managed. The gene for sickle cell anemia is more common in people of African, Caribbean, and Middle Eastern descent. This is because the gene provides some protection against malaria, which is prevalent in these regions. Tay-Sachs disease is another devastating genetic disorder that primarily affects the nervous system. Children with Tay-Sachs disease typically appear healthy at birth, but begin to show symptoms within the first few months of life. It's characterized by the progressive deterioration of nerve cells, leading to severe physical and mental disabilities. As the disease progresses, children lose motor skills, vision, and hearing, and eventually require constant care. Tay-Sachs disease is more common among Ashkenazi Jewish populations and French Canadians. Genetic screening programs in these communities have helped reduce the incidence of the disease by identifying carriers and providing genetic counseling. These are just a few examples of the many genetic conditions that can be more prevalent in children of cousin marriages. While the risk of genetic disorders is higher, it's important to remember that not all children of cousin marriages will be affected. Genetic counseling and testing can help prospective parents understand their risks and make informed decisions.